Yo, what's up you guys? It's Jeremy and I'm back with another video. Inside of this one, we're going to be talking about something that I find very, very important to talk about, and something that I think can apply to a lot of your guys' lives, or I honestly know can apply to a lot of your guys' lives, because this is something that literally everybody goes through, and what that is feeling lost. And the reason I wanted to talk about feeling lost in this video isn't to sit here and tell you my story about how I'm so lost in life and I don't know what I want to do. Everybody's heard that story before. Everybody's been there. Everybody's felt that. I'm just here to talk about how we could solve this problem and actually make it not a problem in our lives. Nobody talks about this in, school or in life. Everybody tells you, you can't be lost. You shouldn't be lost. Whenever somebody wants to talk about like, oh, they feel lost, or somebody, brings that up, it's like something you have to bring up to like a therapist. People think you're like having a mental breakdown if you say you feel like you have no direction and you're lost. And it has sort of this like negative stigma around it. Like if you're lost in life, or if you don't have a clear path, people consider you lost in life, which is like so not true, because literally anything you do other than like listen to what other people tell you to do, you're not going to have direction in. If you're not listening to somebody tell you the steps, how are you going to possibly have direction and clarity? You're not. It's just life. Nobody's going to be able to show you how to walk every single step. So how could you expect to always feel like you're on path? Or why would you try to hold yourself to that standard of, being on this certain direction, on this certain, roadway and map? And, the reason I say this isn't because I'm saying, oh, you should just willy-nilly life and just do, whatever you want and not care about reality. But what I'm saying is you can draw a roadmap for your life and nobody else can. So if you're sitting here trying to worry about hopping on a path and you're, I feel so lost. All my friends are doing this. All my friends have degrees. All my friends are, getting good jobs. All my friends are just getting out of college, or you're in high school and you're like, oh my gosh, all my friends are accepted into these crazy colleges and I'm sitting here as a bad student with bad grades. Or you're somebody who, got in trouble and you're like, oh my gosh, I messed up my whole life. I got on drugs, or I got on, doing bad stuff, or whatever it is, you guys. That's fine. That's the past. That's not anything that is going to be relevant right now in the future. Even though you think it is, even though you think it might be, it doesn't matter. You can't think about it as a problem, because it happened. You can't go back and fix something in the past that, already had happened. When you're on this journey through life, there's a lot of times where you might have something super bad happen to you. It throws you off track, and now you feel lost, and now you feel like, you can't even show your face in public because you feel like a failure or a loser, or a lame, or somebody who doesn't have their shit together, or somebody who's just willy-nilly in life. And the reason I'm saying this is because when I was pushing for something different in life, when I decided, hey, I want to do something different, and I started pursuing it, for the first 5-6 years, literally everybody just thinking I was basically a fuck up or a failure. Like, no reason to put it soft. That's what people thought I was, seeming like, because I literally was not planning to go to college. I was not necessarily taking school the most serious. And, I didn't have a job, and I was just saying all this stuff. Whenever somebody would ask me, I'd be like, no, I'm not going to college. Okay, what do you want to do? Oh, I want to do this, this, and this, change the world, do all these things that I tell you guys about on this channel now. And they would just be like, okay, but what do you want to do? And I'd be like, well, that's what I want to do. And they'd be like, well, yeah, but in real life, what would you like to do? And I was like, well, in real life, that's exactly what I would like to do. Everybody thought that I was so off path and so, lost and so gone. And for some reason, I never lost faith in it. I knew that no matter what these people were telling me, I could go do what I wanted to do. And I felt like I was on path. I felt like I was finding me, and I was figuring out where I needed to go, what I needed to do. But with all these people around you saying that you need to find a path, you need to find something, you need to do something, it just leads to you eventually, if you stay surrounded around these people, feeling like you actually are lost. And there's a lot of times in my life where I've spent months, if not years, anxious, feeling, depressed, feeling sad, thinking, and being worried that I was lost, because so many people around me were basically making me feel like I was lost when nothing was working, right? When all these dreams and stuff that I had weren't working at all. The thing about that's sad is I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate. I'm sure almost every single one of you guys watching this video, if not every single one, can relate, because that's how our society portrays life. They portray it in the way that we're taught, the way that most of us are brought up, is that we should be on this path and we should try to just have a clear path our whole lives. Literally, they try to ask you at, 16, 17 years old, even earlier, 14, 15, what do you want to do with your life? You're 14 years old. What do you want to do with your life? Is that an appropriate question when you're 15 years old, 16 years old, 17, 18 years old, 20 years old? Honestly, it's not. For a lot of people still haven't even seen, different states. So it's like, how are you supposed to ask somebody what they want to do at that early of an age? And the reason that they ask you that is because it's not a question, it's an answer. It's a, what do you want to do? You say it as a kid, and the adult or whoever's asking you that is always ready to fire right back with a better idea, their opinion, their view, whatever it is. You are constantly just being told these things that are so false. If you have your life and another person has their life, and say they're older than you, say there's somebody who, actually has an impact on your life, like a teacher, somebody you look up to, somebody you love, and they give you an opinion. They give you that opinion because their brain and the way that they think is shaped based off what happened in their life. So unless you look at that person and you're like, I want to be exactly like you, I want you to be my mentor, don't take advice from them. It makes no sense. It doesn't matter if you love them. That's fine. You could love the person and not take advice from them. That's not a disrespectful thing to not take somebody's advice. So unless you want to live your life like theirs, do not take their advice. Otherwise, you will end up living your life like theirs. Don't you think the person giving you advice is giving you the same advice that they would take themselves? Otherwise, they probably wouldn't be giving you the advice and thinking that they're, helping you out. So if they would have taken the advice, just look at where they're at in life. And if you don't want to be there, don't take it, because that's where it will get you, because they took their advice. Does that make sense, right? It's not about taking other people's advice, just people who just give it to you. It's about taking the right advice in, taking the right information in. You see, if you've taken the wrong information, you're all fucked up. There's no possible way for you to get the right output if you have the wrong input. There is no possible way. It is impossible to get the right output with the wrong input, right? 2 + 4 does not equal 3. It just doesn't. No matter how you write 2 + 4, it doesn't equal 3. The wrong inputs will not give us the desired output. 2 + 1 = 3, right? If we're trying to get 3 as the output, we can't put a 2 and a 6 as the input. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't work. Same with life and same with everything. If you're trying to add up somebody else's life, they're trying to tell you advice that they have not exercised themselves. It doesn't work. And I'm not saying that somebody who's done it in the past and is giving you advice now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because there's a lot of people who don't currently do something but did in the past and now give advice on it. So somebody who's done it is okay to learn from too, but just somebody who's never done it nor is doing it, it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't get you there. It's just not going to work. And that's the people who tell you that you need to be on this path. Those type of people who you probably don't want to look like if you're on this video, watching this video about mindset and motivation. You probably, are somebody who wants to do something great. You're probably somebody who wants to do something huge, something big. So if you're talking to another person who wants to do something huge, something big, ask them if they think that you need to be on track, that you need to be on track 100% of the time, and you need to always know exactly what you're doing before you get into it, and you need to know about the guarantees, and you need to be careful on the risk you take, and you need to be careful on the chances that you take. Ask somebody successful who's where you want to be if you should either take a risk towards your goals, or you should play it safe, be super cautious, make sure it's guaranteed, make sure you take the right steps, make sure you know everything before getting into it, and then you know what? Then you can take a step towards your goals. Fuck that. That's not gonna fucking work. You're gonna get absolutely nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. You're gonna get absolutely no fucking where. Nowhere will you get. You will not move any bit forward. If forward is this way, you would be going as far back that way as you possibly can, because you're not going to get anywhere, because there's no way to know everything before you do it. So how the fuck are you supposed to be on a path your entire life and feel like you're on path? Teachers always sit down with you, let's talk about how to get you back on track. Let's talk about how to get you back on, back on track, right? Back on our track, back on the system's track, back on the curriculum's track, back on the track that they design for you, back on the rat trap, back on the trap that they design to keep you in, that you are letting them keep you in because you are not aware enough to step out. And that's why I'm making videos like this. I was not aware enough either. And it's not your fault. And it's not anybody's fault. The system's not bad, it's just something that if you're trying to do something, you better get out of it. If you're trying to play in the system and just live a life where you can just, be off on the weekends and do whatever and chill, straight, that's cool. But if you're not trying to do that, which is the people who are probably watching this video, you can't do that. If you want to take the road less traveled, the road is going to be less traveled, and there's not going to be a fucking map. If you're looking for a map, you're never going to find it, and you're never going to move forward. This is why 99% of people never move forward towards their idea, and they take it to the grave with them instead of ever trying to pursue it, is because they just don't know it's possible. You need to start seeking knowledge outside of the people who you don't look up to. And the cool part about it is it doesn't matter where you're from. If you're watching this video, you have something called YouTube. Find people who you want to be like, or who, speak stuff that you can resonate with, and just watch them. Just listen to them. Stop listening to your friends. Stop listening to your parents. Stop listening to your teachers. Stop listening to your coaches. Listen to the people who you want to be like, and you will end up like them. If you don't, you will not. It is as simple as that. And if you're feeling off track in life, embrace it. That's part of it. Don't avoid being lost. Get lost in it. You want to be moving quick. You want to be going. Speed is crucial. When you have speed, when you're moving forward, when you're going fast, you do not think about anxiety. You do not think about depression. You do not think about these things that are clouding your thoughts all the time when you're just moving so fast forward that it doesn't matter. You might be lost, right? People might think you're lost. You might be lost. You might, feel lost yourself, but that's fine. That's part of the journey. That's part of it. Next time you're lost, tell yourself it's okay. You being lost is not a bad thing. It's totally fine if you're lost. Because what that means is you're looking for something. You're still searching, you just haven't found it yet. That's totally fine. If you're not searching, you're stagnant and you're just sitting there. And if you're just sitting there and stagnant, what is life? Don't you want to be looking for something new, wanting something more always? Don't you want to always be, trying to push for something new, trying to make something new happen? You don't want to just get to the point where you're just sitting there with nothing to do. You really think that's going to make you happy? Take a second and realize, look back at all the times in your life where you've had absolutely nothing to do and tell me the most fun time. Did you just try to think about it? Because if you did, you probably realized that, all the times I had nothing to do were all the same. They did nothing. Nothing happened. Literally nothing happened. So you don't want to do nothing. You being lost might be, exactly where you need to be. If you allow yourself to be lost, if you say it's okay that I'm feeling lost, then you don't make it a problem. And if you don't make it a problem, then it's not going to be an issue, and you can just worry about doing more and not worry about feeling like you're off track. There's no reason to be worried about being off track, because you are on track. You are on your track. You are on your mission. You are on your journey. What matters is that you keep pursuing it. 99% of the time, people lose themselves by trying to not be lost. Let me say that one more time. 99% of the time, people lose themselves trying to not be lost, or trying to find direction or find a path. Because instead of taking the anxiety, the scariness, the depression, the loneliness of pursuing their goals, because it might be hard what they want to do, they are searching so hard for a path to not feel that way, that they grab onto a path that they can find that would be safe and that would work for them. And then they settle for that path. because as soon as they hop on it, they feel like they finally found direction, because now their life feels comfy. It feels relaxed. It feels chill. They're making $100K a year. They have a nice car. They're living good. They got good food. It's chill. But they themselves are still lost. You can find direction and still be lost. But you cannot find yourself and not find direction. So you need to focus on finding yourself first, and that will give you the direction. Don't find a path or allow anybody out there to put you down a path that they want to put you down, because it's not your path. Unless you want to look like them, do not take advice from them. You will never find yourself and not have direction. So remember that, because what that tells you is you need to find yourself first, and the direction will come once you find yourself. But don't try to force direction or take somebody else's, because it is not going to work for you. Just remember that if you're chasing you, that is all you can do, and that is all you should do, because you will not look back and regret your life if you chase what you want to do. If you don't, you will.